You know, for many years, I didn't even know how to pronounce it. You'll hear people calling it manga, then people calling it manga. And if I'm gonna keep it real with you, I'm no stranger to anime myself. I mean, if you haven't already, go ahead and watch my anime reaction with my 2 friends on my other channel, JDL. But I was a complete stranger to manga. I thought the only good ones were ones that had to do with slice of life, school kids, you know, pointless drawings and stuff. And I always thought that the anime just made the manga better. But I have turned over a new leaf. But hey, let's just say you came here for my short form content. You know that I'm not a stranger to books either. To put that into perspective, this is what I'm reading right now. And yes, I do use the receipt as a bookmark. And this is probably my favorite book of all time. So, you know, going from Albert Camus over to manga, I didn't set my expectations high until I started with this magnum opus of a book or manga, comic, whatever, Vagabond. Now this is the Viz Big Edition by Takehiko Inoue. Sorry if I mispronounced. And honestly, I can't say that I was ready. Now first things first, if you haven't read a manga before, you know that books are read from left to right, as in you open it like this and read. You see, with manga, it's actually from right to left. And even when you read the said panels itself, you have to read from right to left, right to left. So it did take some actual time for me to get used to this style of reading. Anyways, enough of the app, let's get into this. Now, usually when I start reading a new book, I always try to get at least a paragraph writing about the author, whether that be his inspiration, his backstory, or anything that I need to know going into that said book. However, whenever I even searched up Vagabond or the author or any character in the book, the one person that came up was Miyamoto Musashi. Now, for some reason, if you don't know who that is, he was basically a samurai back in the samurai time. However, he's best known for his book that's, I guess, considered philosophy. I mean, that's how I at least got introduced to him. And it's the Book of Five Rings, where he basically developed a type of philosophy on being disciplined, on adapting, on simplicity and mastery through practice. Not only that, word on the street is that he's undefeated in duels. A little birdie also told me that apparently he invented a double sword, like dual wield kind of style. But anyways, this book is basically based off of his life, or at least one of the characters is. Now, just to put in perspective, I haven't even finished reading all of this. But if it's one thing that Inoue has already instilled in me reading this book, is the extreme edges of human emotion. I've already seen scenes where characters are going to their lengths, going past their limits just to prove that they matter. But then in the next page, you'll see the smallest and most unexpected act of kindness. So basically, I've been introduced to 2 characters. Takezo, who eventually became Miyamoto Musashi, and to me, he was almost feral. He's almost like a violent young warrior who just knew nothing but violence, but battle. If I could compare him, this may be a crazy comparison, but if you read a book like Blood Meridian, he kind of reminds me of the kid. Not everything, but just the fact that they were born into violence and that's all they knew. And at first, you think that that's all that this guy has to him. You know, the whole weakness gets you killed kind of vibe you get from someone. But honestly, in that time, was he really wrong? However, there's also another character called Otsu. She's not the comic relief that you'll often get in a book like this. She's almost kind of gentle. She's almost like, I mean, so far, y'all can flame me in the comments. I don't really care. But so far, it seems like she's been the only person to at least try to keep Takezo in line, but not in the way that you think. You see, she's not sitting there, you know, sitting him down, lecturing him. She's more of the person who will go through anything with Takezo and refuses to give up on him, even though she has like plenty of reason to. And may I say, some of the art I have seen in this book is uncomparable. I mean, yeah, I've seen other animes and I guess, you know, animations are drawings, but man, even when you look at like this side thing, whatever you want to call it, like this art itself, I hope it's focusing, man. Even then, I could probably flip to a random page right now and we're gonna see Da Vinci Manifest. Like, y'all see what I'm saying? Look at that ant right now. Look, you see this ant right here, bro? Tell me that ain't peak ant. Now again, I haven't gotten far. If I'm being quite honest, I haven't even seen, I guess, a fight yet. Now, apparently this version actually combines 3, I guess, volumes in one. So if you're a beginner and wanting to get into this, I don't see why I wouldn't recommend this. I mean, maybe for the price in this economy. So if you're someone like me who grew up on books like Paradise Lost or Dante's Inferno, or maybe you've read some of Cormac McCarthy's books, for example, and you have that one friend who's talking about maybe Berserk, maybe Vagabond, maybe Vinland Saga is what I've been hearing. I'm telling you, don't sleep on them. And especially don't sleep on Vagabond. Maybe it's too dark, maybe it's too violent, maybe it's not for everybody. But I mean, what are you into? Transformers? Toys?
What are you into? Transformers? Pokemon, you fucking child?
But honestly, the storytelling of this is almost kind of as good, if not at least up to par with some of the books I've read. I mean, I know it hasn't been adapted into an anime yet, if I'm correct. Someone please correct me. So honestly, to me, this is a story, this is a book. And honestly, I was reading this pretty fast and I needed to stop myself in order to make this video. So don't think of this as a review. I am not far enough yet to make a review. Now y'all, I know it's been a while. Technically not really if you've been keeping up with me on the other channel, but I mean on the Book of Dre. Think of this as just an introduction to this series, and if this video does good, expect Vagabond and maybe even more manga to come out. But I have a question for you. Have you read Vagabond or any other manga you'd like to recommend? Drop your recommendations and drop your thoughts or maybe things I should look out for in Vagabond. Without further ado, make sure you check out my reaction channel, JDL, join the Discord, and join the Patreon for uncut and early access. And without further ado, I'm in for a ride.